If you've ever been told to just say no when you are dealing with a difficult situation or a person or trying to set a boundary and you have felt frustrated, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Emma Coble. I'm a licensed professional counselor and I work with clients in Colorado and in Florida. And so people pleasing and the fawn response are things I've talked about before, and these are behaviors that are trauma responses, and they are highly rewarded in our society if you are a woman specifically. If you are, like many of my clients, deep feeling, highly empathetic, um, you might know intellectually that you are sometimes abandoning your own needs or your own self in order to take care of others. Um, and you might have every intention at times of like setting the boundary or saying no or not overscheduling yourself, and then find that when the moment arrives, you have just put another commitment on your calendar, or you have just agreed to something you don't want to do, whether that is picking up your mother in law's laundry or agreeing to host a party at your house. You feel like you're not really in control of your own life. And this can lead you to feeling exhausted, and like like this incapable of setting boundaries. It can lead to a profound feeling of not really being in control or not really being safe. So this advice to just say no, it's not really helpful when we are dealing with groups that have been traumatized, including women, because we live in a system that is traumatic, and is traumatizing to our nervous systems. So it's not just a matter of like using more willpower to say no. It's not just a matter of like, okay, we fight with ourselves and then we're able to just, push down that part of us that wants to please. What we really need to do in order to heal this people pleasing is understand why it's here, where it comes from, befriend it, heal it, and work on helping rewrite the script. So, I think it's really important to talk about the cultural context of why it's so difficult to say no. So, our society really rewards women and encourages women to be endlessly accommodating, to be agreeable. That is always a positive adjective when it comes to being a woman. To be easy, breezy, beautiful, to be helpful to other people, to be giving, to be loving. These are a lot of the traits that the ideal women have. Being nurturing, being good mothers. Those are the things that, are really rewarded in women and are not as much rewarded in men. Actually, in men, those traits are seen as effeminate or unattractive often. When a woman does set a firm boundary, oftentimes she is seen as selfish or difficult or aggressive. And these women are oftentimes kind of, in small ways, looked down upon. The women who are assertive, that is. So, viewing your difficulty with setting boundaries through this lens of understanding, I hope can start to lift some of that like burden or blame you might put on yourself for why this is hard. You are bumping up against centuries, if not millennia, of tradition and messaging that tells you you're wrong for trying to set a boundary, and it makes you less of a woman and it makes you less attractive to do so. So this explains too why when you try and set a boundary, oftentimes you have this highly adaptive response of like your throat is tightening, your heart's racing, your mind's going blank, you are feeling super uncomfortable because you're going against exactly what you have been taught to do and conditioned to do for your entire life by the society we live in. And not just like the outer society. When I say that, it makes it sound like it's, MTV and the Today Show or whatever. No, like society is also like your parents who have that inside of them, and your teachers, and like everyone you grew up with, everyone you're friends with. Like people send messages in very subtle ways. Even people who are very self-aware can send messages in subtle ways. um, Let alone if you grew up in an unpredictable environment or had critical caregivers or experienced attachment or relational trauma. You might have learned a lesson that like disappointing others leads to abandonment. And if we're abandoned, especially as a kid, that's very dangerous. So it would be highly adaptable and smart to learn to anticipate other people's needs or read the room or protect against being abandoned. And this might have involved also like not really recognizing your own needs or prioritizing everyone else's comfort instead of your own. So when you try and just say no, that primitive part of your brain like sends the alarm of like, ooh, this is unsafe. Ooh, we're not going to survive if we do this. Ooh, we're going to be rejected and alone if we do this. So that's why we freeze. That's why we just say yes, because we don't want to be rejected, abandoned, alone, hurt. So the biggest so after we understand this, we want to not criticize ourselves for having this part that is people pleasing or fawning. We want to really understand how it's helped us, befriend it, understand the way it has probably helped us be seen as a valuable woman and member of society. Maybe it has helped us achieve things in school. Maybe it's helped us find a partner. Maybe it's helped us, get a group of friends and feel accepted by other women. These are all really valuable things. Maybe it's also helped us like be a good mom or, be a good caretaker to our parents, the fact that we can anticipate others' needs. So we don't want to just demonize this part and try and make it go away. Like this part has been really, really valuable and we're wanting to work with it so that it feels safer, not so that it just leaves completely. So we want to get curious about it. We want to get curious about its experience. We want to validate it. We want to appreciate it, and help it realize that the you that's existing now is an adult who is safe to say no and have some boundaries. So that's what we do through EMDR therapy. So we want to help your brain with EMDR, which involves bilateral stimulation, really digest this sort of like stuck belief or stuck trauma. And we're not just going to be like practicing saying no or something like that. We are targeting specific memories or beliefs or ideas, and different scenarios where maybe your boundaries were violated, ignored, punished. Also, those beliefs of like, if I say no, I'm going to be abandoned, my needs don't matter. So, as we move through this, the intense like physical reaction and emotional charge that you might associate with some of these memories or beliefs, it's going to start to get neutralized. And once that happens and somatically your nervous system and body feel calmer, we're able to start to hear your voice, and we're able to start to like install in your body a different belief, that saying no isn't necessarily going to lead to abandonment, that it's safe to say no, that you are safe. Um, if you are in this position where you are scared to make people mad, another thing I just want to say is that we can't control other people. We are building internal safety and helping also be with the fact that other people might be mad, and it doesn't mean I'm not safe, unless of course obviously there are situations where you might not be safe, in which case maybe there would be a different route, and maybe this part would be highly protective in those situations. But in many of the situations my clients face, it is actually safe to say no, but they are still monitoring themselves. They are still punishing themselves for saying no. So, I also want to say that life can be really beautiful on the other side of this. Like when you are able to ask for what you need, ask for what you want, say no, live life that feels good for you, good in your body, so much opens up. There can be so much freedom when you're not just living for everyone else. So if you're interested in this, reach out for a free consultation, and thank you for watching.